What do you see for your future as an actor?
Hopefully I'm working.
Yeah. Fingers crossed.
Because you never know.
Yeah.
Look, I think it's also an exciting time to be an Asian actor, because I think for the first time ever, there's more conversations about opportunity for Asians, right? And we're starting to see more Asians in non-Asian roles, right?
Yeah.
Like just occupying just a general character. You don't have to play Asian guy.
And it's right now, I think it's, to your point, I think it's not just about, I feel like there's a lot more focus on the quantity, so like the number of Asians on screen, but then eventually we're going to move towards that quality and the depth and the holisticness of that character to show that they're multidimensional, right?
Yes. Yeah. Because right now, for the most part, it is like, if you're an Asian on television, you're playing an Asian character, and their Asianness is inherent to the storyline and the reason that they exist on the TV, right?
Yeah.
Whereas I'd like us to get to the place where it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You're just playing this character.
Just a character.
Who's
Doesn't
just
matter.
incidentally Asian. And
Just happens to be. What do you think we can do, like overall as a society, maybe even as like you yourself, or even as me as part of Culty Collective? What can we do to help advance that agenda?
for actors, it is be good, right?
Yeah.
So that when you get those opportunities, you knock them out of the park, because the more of us that are good, the more people start to see all of us as good, right? All those Asians can act, or whatever.
Yeah, that blanket statement. Yeah.
But for everyone else, like, I guess support those people, like support the Asian voices in the industry. And not just actors, but the Asian writers and the Asian directors and producers.
It's kind of, like if you have a friend that's perhaps an aspiring director or writer, right? Make sure that you buy their book, maybe, attend their play,
Right.
and, buy tickets to their short film screening and actually show up.
Yeah.
Because that actually does make a difference in the long run.
Oh, absolutely.
If you were to describe the Asian acting community in Vancouver, how would you describe it?
How would I describe the Asian acting community? Hardworking.
And do you think that's a product of something, or is it just innate in the business?
Like genetics? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, well, no, not necessarily.
I know. I'm kidding. I'm messing
Maybe
with you.
that is part of it too.
There's less opportunity for Asian actors, for sure. I mean, you only have to watch a television to see that, like, there's less of them. Acting already is really competitive. I think it's more competitive when you're Asian. Even when I first started, I remember most of the older actors I'd met were just like, you were going to have to be 10 times better than your non-Asian counterparts to be on their level, So I think the Asian acting community here, all kind of have that lesson. The ones who are still doing it, it's just like, you just have to be 10 times better, work 10 times harder than your white friends, or you're just not going to get anywhere.
What?
It's nothing, sir.
Speak.
It's just you barely escaped assassination. You're arguably on the run from the most powerful witch on Earth, not to mention an angel of heaven. You didn't call for help until after the orgy.
So what does that working 10 times harder look like? Like, what does it look like in terms of, like self-tapes, or like, taking classes, or what does it look like?
It's weird to think, because like everyone wants to say talent this, talent that, and like I always compare acting to sports, which always seems like a weird thing, but I think it really is, right? Like, you can be naturally talented at soccer or hockey or whatever, but you still have to hone that skill.
Yeah.
And so the guys that go to practice and the guys who drill their skills every day are going to be better. And acting's the same, right? You can be naturally talented, but unless you're constantly sharpening that knife and building more tools, you're just not gonna make it.
That really speaks to a very like a quote that I always like to say, and that's hustle beats talent when talent doesn't hustle.
It's a good one.
Yeah, no, it really. I think it really speaks to, especially in career paths that are like, kind of like non-traditional, right? In that sense. Do you ever? I mean, you've done so many auditions now, right? So like, do you ever like get nervous, or like how do you prepare? Like, what are your thoughts and feelings going into it?
Yeah, no, I don't really get nervous anymore. I'm lucky in that respect. I think the biggest change for me was kind of changing my mindset about it, I think, even though that sounds hokey, but I think a lot of young actors think about an audition as a job interview. Like I got to go there and I got to get this job and I really want this job and and then there's so much pressure and you get so invested. Whereas when you start to think about it as your job, auditioning is your job, it changes.
So then do you think that reality is supposed to be mirrored in film and television or the other way around now? How have our expectations changed? And why do you think that is?
I mean, obviously you can say film and TV is supposed to be escapism and it shouldn't have to mirror reality or whatever. And there's that, chicken and egg, life imitates art kind of thing. But, I always think a few years ago when I traveled to America, people were always surprised that I had an Australian accent. And they were like blown away by like, there's Asians in Australia?
Oh
like,
my gosh.
It was like this thing, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, well, just like there's Asian Americans, there's Asian Australians, and there's quite a lot of them. And you'd think, why would they think that? Probably because whenever they watch Australian television, they only see white people. Like, there's probably never been an Asian Australian on Australian television. Whereas, if there was, they wouldn't be asking those questions when you were traveling. Like,
No, it's true.
Yeah.
It's like they wouldn't be surprised or shocked. I mean, the same thing if like even if you're traveling to an Asian country, right? And then you see, you maybe for whatever reason, like you assume that anyone that travels, if you are a native of an Asian country and you see another Asian, you assume that they would speak probably the same language as you.
Yeah.
Or if you look kind of different, they would at least be able to comprehend or understand a little bit. Like I've certainly had that when traveling to Japan and stuff, right?
Me too.
Yeah, it's an assumption of, oh, you don't speak Japanese, you must speak Chinese. It's like, no, actually, you speak English.
Right?
And it kind of makes me feel like a little bit lesser of an Asian. I don't know.
No, I hear you.
Pleasant flight, Mrs. Rathaway.
Yes, quite. Thank you.
Careful, please. It's worth a fortune.
Welcome home, Mr. Rathaway.
Thank you, Rita.
Sir, your son, Hartley, he called again.
We don't have a son anymore.
Do you speak any other languages other than English?
Not fluently. I speak a little bit of Japanese because I had to learn for High Castle.
Yeah.
And a tiny bit of Korean.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there any intention to learn a little bit more, based perhaps like for your own personal interests or for career interests?
I mean, I wish I was bilingual. I'm always jealous of people who speak multiple languages.
Yeah.
It's like so much respect. It's funny. If I learned another language, it would definitely open more doors because a lot of Asian parts are
Like speaking.
yeah, they
right?
speak.
Sure.
But a part of me wants to resist that because it's in the same way. It's like if I learned martial arts, I could probably get a lot more parts too.
Yeah.
But it's like I shouldn't have to. Like Michael Fassbender doesn't know martial arts. Like
Yeah.
Philip Seymour Hoffman didn't speak 10 languages.
Yeah.
Like they were just respectable character actors. In the same way, like when they cast Michael B. Jordan in Creed,
Yeah.
then he goes and learns how to box.
Sure. Yeah.
I would totally do anything. Like
Yeah.
if you come to me and say, "Hey, this is a great part, and you have to learn kung fu,"
Yeah.
great, I will do that.
No, I respect that though, because I think that the principle behind that is, I'm who I am, and I can certainly learn these things, like whether it be speaking another language or
Yeah.
martial arts or like any other type of skill, because those are all considered skills, like, to be able to do the job. But I mean that as a prerequisite, just because you happen to be Asian of
right.
some sort.
Right.
That that's where it gets a little bit dicey there.
Yeah, and like I said, I love learning new schools. I really do, and like I've taken up boxing, which I love, and and I play musical instruments and stuff. But yeah, it's like when Don Cheadle was playing Miles Davis, I don't think he knew trumpet before.
Yeah,
Right?
that would be very random.
Right, and
Like
it's-
very like specific. Like you can only, but it just happens to be Don Cheadle.
You know what I mean? There's more
Yeah.
of like a respect of like the acting comes first,
Yeah.
and then
you can learn that stuff.
right. But I feel like for us, we're not extended that courtesy, maybe.
Maybe one day. Fingers
Fingers
crossed.